What's up, YouTube? This is Itachi, and if you're watching this, as I've said plenty of times before, hopefully I'm still going. Going to boot camp, training with this, my Zanpakuto. Yes, I have a Zanpakuto. No, I'm not crazy. So in this character analysis, I'll be talking about Yusuke Urameshi. Now, we pretty much all know Yusuke Urameshi. I don't know, gotta tell what series he's from, but just for the hell of it, I will. Yu Yu Hakusho is where he's from. Uh, I've seen the anime. Actually, I think I haven't read the manga, but I've seen like a few pages. I think the manga is a little better than the anime. But anyway. We all know Yusuke Urameshi. I mean, he was pretty boss of character. I mean, he died at the first episode. First episode, he died. He came back. Then he died again later on in the series, and he came back even stronger. But anyway, so Yusuke, he is pretty much the his first character I've seen that really kind of did his own thing. I mean, he's to me, he's the original street brawler. If you see my Maki video, I don't know which order I'm gonna upload these, but if you see my Maki video, she's a Street Fighter too. But to me, he's the original Street Fighter. Um, he's overall he's a good character. I think Yusuke he goes through a lot of changes throughout the show. Like I said, I really didn't read the manga. I was like 7. I didn't know there was a manga, but as the anime goes, I mean, like I said, like when we first see Yusuke, he's just a delinquent. He likes to cause trouble. He barely goes to school. Well, that don't change. He still causes trouble. He still doesn't go to school. But I mean, that's pretty much his whole life, you know. But then he starts to form a relationship with Fullbara, and Fullbara was also pretty much the same thing, except that he actually did go to school. So you know they would fight, and pretty much Yusuke would pretty much win. I mean, he was always the better street brawler. But they formed a relationship, not necessarily as friends, but and not necessarily even as rivals. Just they were warriors. I mean, they're not in a battle for screaming but you know they were warriors. That's how the relationship started. And as the series progressed, you know, we all know he goes strength with Genkai, and he gets strong, with the spirit gun and all that fun stuff. And like Dark Tournament is when we really start to see that he changes a lot. But not a lot, but he starts to start. You know, he just fights because he wants to fight. He fights for the thrill of it, enjoys it, which is nothing wrong with that. But you know, the Dark Tournament is when stuff kind of gets a little real. Like towards the end, um, Genkai died, and obviously that was his master, and so that kind of made him think like, okay, you know, this is actually kind of serious. Um, and that's when he eventually obviously beats the Goro through that. Um, and even Kubar when he fought Toguro, Toguro had that Toguro. Kubar had to actually die in order for him to get serious, or not necessarily get serious, but to stop being lazy. Like that's his character. Like no matter what goes on, he's kind of a procrastinator. So I mean, Genkai had to die, and Kobar had to die. Um, just for him to beat Toguro. Toguro was like, although he was pretty OP back then. He technically sucks because he's a B class demon. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying. And that was just for one guy. You know, he had 2 people had to die. So I mean, that shows you like he wasn't really in it. He didn't really care about others like that. Like, I mean, if it took 2 deaths, like close deaths, for you to freaking kill one guy, you know, you're actually not too attached to them. I mean, that's pretty crazy. But the Sensui, like Chapter Black, well, really not even Chapter Black, but some of it, Yusuke, I think Chapter Black, the end of it is when Yusuke actually kind of open up and say, you know what, you know, it's not just me, that's doing this. You know, I do have friends, because as we see in Chapter Black, Sensui kills him. And Yusuke lets him kill him. I mean, yeah, Yusuke would have lost, hands down. He was no match for him. But Yusuke literally says, you know what? I can't beat him. There's no way I can beat him. But you know what? I think through my death, my friends can actually get stronger and may possibly beat him. So he stands there and he lets Sensui stab him in the heart. So that's what he does. Sensui just goes, and he stabs him in the heart. And you know, he was right. He was right. He died. He didn't know he was coming back. He figured, you know what? This is my last act of goodness that I can do. I will die for my friends, and that's what happens. Like I said, in Kuwabara, obviously she gets stronger. He uses I think Jigen Toe, Dimensional Sword, Kurama, and Hiei. comes like probably from B class. I don't even think they're B class, right from C class up to A class instantly. And you can tell because they couldn't come through the Kai barrier. I mean, and that, I mean, that Yusuke, I don't even think Dark Tournament Yusuke would have died for his friends. Um, like that. I really don't. But even after that, he comes back. Obviously, he becomes a demon, half demon, whatever. He's a demon. But even that, after all that fun stuff, and he goes to demon tournament. Goes to demon world, and he hosts the demon tournament. That's when Yusuke had his ultimate revelation when he was fighting Yomi. They was both bull crapping around, but they both actually had the same revelation, but Yusuke, he found out that he had no reason. His whole the whole Yu Yu Hakusho series, the Spirit Detective Files, is what they're called, was really pointless for him. Like he had no reason to do this. He had no reason to beat Toguro. He had nothing. I mean, yeah, he killed Toguro. Yeah, he killed Genkai. So that was a little revenge. But ultimately, he had no reason to kill, or let alone even fight Toguro. He had no reason to fight or kill Sensui. Although he didn't technically kill Sensui, he had no reason to do either of those. And they only fought him because they wanted him to kill them. Like he had no personal stake in it at all. So he lost all his will for fighting. Like you seen his eyes looked dead. Like he was, in essence, his soul just kind of died right there. But then Ryzen talks to him spiritually, and he's like, like you're not just fighting for yourself. You may not have realized this all this time, but you've never really fought for yourself. You've always fought for your friends. And it shows Koima, it shows Kuwabara, Hiei, Kurama, what's her Keiko, Botan, and it shows everybody, and Kuwabara, and obviously it shows Keiko like 5 times. You know, Ryzen gives him that boost, like although you haven't realized, you have always fought for your friends, and that's when we see the true change in Yusuke, and that's when he develops what's called friendship energy. It's a shonen, so what do you expect? I mean, everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's sacred energy, sacred energy." And Cohen was like, "Nah, it's not. It's not. It's friendship energy." But nonetheless, he gets the friendship energy, and that was his purpose of fighting right there, was to fight for all of them. And that, like I said, you've seen so many changes to Yusuke during each I don't know if they're called arcs, but let's just say arcs. He changes each step a little bit more, and the end of the demon arc is when like he truly just changed for the better. So as a character, I think he's one of the best characters. As a character, he's not my favorite character, but as far as like development goes, I think he is definitely in the top. So if you feel the same way, or if you feel differently, feel free to comment below. And don't forget to thumbs up the video. If you must, thumbs down. But please tell me why. And if you want to see more, don't forget and don't be afraid to subscribe. I do not bite. I do not bite. This is Ryu Itachi signing out.